Now, for all of you reporters everywhere, just keep asking questions. Go as deep as you can. Be unfailingly polite. Say, may I ask? Because these are personal questions you're asking somebody. And here's how this interview went. I'm going to read it like this. Now, if you follow this, you're going to have some pretty interesting results. I asked, what happened to you? Now, I'm at a Red Cross center, and he's sitting in a chair with all his belongings beside him and his family's belongings on the floor of a gymnasium. And he said, my house and everything I own was taken away by the hurricane. All my family, mementos, and pictures, and all my furniture are gone, all of it. Now, I could have stopped there as a reporter. I could have cut right there, or as a filmmaker, as a documentary filmmaker, say, cut, great, we have it. He lost everything, and move on. Or you could ask the next question. So the next question I asked was, well, how are you getting through the pain of that loss? Pretty painful. And he said, well, losing everything made me realize that the most important thing in my life is my family. My family survived. That is what matters most. Well, you could cut right there. You could, as a print reporter or documentarian, you say, cut, great, we got our piece. That's what matters most, family, and go and report. But I asked another question. I was trying to get at his worldview. Where does his ideas come from? And that's what you want to do with people. You want to get to say, where did you get this idea, how you're living? So I said, well, where does that perspective in life come from, that family matters most? And he said, probably from my parents. We used to pray all the time when I was growing up. Now is the time to find out if all that praying we did in all our lives took hold. That's pretty interesting. His parents were praying parents. And so his worldview has to do with praying all the time. And did it take hold of my life? Well, I could have cut there and said, great, we have our footage or we have our print. Let's write our story. But I asked another question. I said, and what have you been praying, may I ask? Oh, I said, have you been praying in these tough times? And he said, all the time. I never stopped. And I said, and what have you been praying, may I ask? And he said, for strength in God's thoughts, for patience and be able to come through this without being discouraged or giving up. So that's a pretty good comment. Strength, God's thoughts, don't be discouraged, don't give up. I could have said, cut, let's, we've got the story, we've got great quotes there, I'm going to stop here. But I asked another question and I said, has that been working for you? Okay, so he's doing it, so what? And he said, really well, actually. Even though I'm 1,000 miles from home, God has provided me with shelter. And he pointed to this humble floor with all this stuff on it. And food, and my family is together. I've never felt closer to God than I do right now, even though all these bad things have happened. I don't have a job. My house is probably underwater, but I really feel like he's going to get me through this. Wow, what a great quote. And I could have said, cut, we've got it, great quote. Let's, wrap, it's a wrap, let's move on. But I said, another question, why do you think that? And he said, well, because, and this is a real interview. He said, because in all my life, in tough times, God has always been there for me and my family. This is just another tough time, and I know from the past that God will work something out. God always works something out. Well, how much more can you get? I mean, what a great, boy, what a faith story. What a, it's a God story. And it's journalism. It's how he's handling disaster. And when you interview people that have gone through disaster, ask them how they're getting through it.